Hi everyone and welcome back. For those of you who are new, my name is Molly and I love creating anything that inspires me. And today I am inspired by my dog Dutton. So, like usual, I was scrolling on my Pinterest and I came across this picture and I just knew that I had to make this, but of course with my own dog. So here we have some flowers that my husband had given me on Valentine's Day. And to be fair, they were much more beautiful when they were given to me. Obviously, that was about 2 weeks ago. So they are looking a little sad now, but that's okay because now it's the perfect time to do this craft. Also, my husband's feelings were not harmed in the making of this video, as I made sure he was okay with me ripping apart his flowers. And as I suspected, he was okay with it. So to do this, we are going to take my charcoal here and scribble it along the back of my dog's picture, and then I will lay it on top of a different piece of paper and trace his outlines in order to transfer it. So let's go ahead and do that. And I'm actually going to paint my canvas with some gesso first, that way it has plenty of time to dry while I'm working on the flowers. And I'm just using my Jerry Q art paintbrush set. And I actually really like these. I was using such a small paintbrush to paint my canvases at first. And also, they're really cheap on Amazon. They were only like $11.99 for a set of 24. And this isn't sponsored or anything. I just think if you're looking for a decent quality and affordable set of paintbrushes, that this is a good choice. Anyways, now that that's done, I'm going to start working on laying down my charcoal and tracing out Dutton. So it's actually kind of hard to see his feet behind the grass, but that's okay. I'm just gonna wing it and kind of draw the basic shape of how I think his feet would look. All right, and I'm just gonna use my Mod Podge for the glue, but before I do that, I need to pick through all of the dead and very dried out flowers. And luckily I still have a few good ones here. If I probably would have waited a couple more days to do this project, I probably wouldn't have had as big of a selection. As you can see, the rose there is starting to get a little crispy, but that's okay because the center is still good and that's what really matters. Anyway, I also really like the pink flowers because they have a really neat design in the center of them and it kind of resembles like a fur texture, so I'm definitely going to be using quite a bit of those. And yeah, I feel like we have a pretty good selection here. So let's go ahead and start laying some flowers down. Also, I don't actually have a plan for how I'm going to lay these out. I'm just going to kind of randomly place them and relax and enjoy the process. All right, and now we are done with Dutton, and since I am enjoying this so much, I decided that I am also going to make one for my parents of their two dogs. So here we have Sadie and Ranger, other known as Sadie Bear and Rangy, and I'm gonna cut their picture so that way I can bring them a little closer on the canvas. And then yeah, I'm just gonna do the same thing with them. I'm gonna add my charcoal to the back and trace their outlines the best that I can, and then start laying some flowers. And again, it is a little hard to get their exact outlines with the grass and with the picture being a little blurry, but I'm just gonna add a little foot here, do some little touch-ups, and call it good. And now to do rangers. All right, and now with that all done, it is time to go over them with our Mod Podge. And actually, I think I should do a darker outline for them because now that I'm thinking about it, I have a feeling it's going to be a little hard to see the outlines on the other side of the paper when I go to cut them. And I wish I would have done that with Duttons, but I didn't think about it at the time, but that's okay, we'll deal with that when we get to it. All right, and like last time, I'm gonna lay the flowers down randomly and just have fun with it. All right, and now to let it dry for a little bit. And after letting it dry, I placed it in between my book so that way it would flatten out. So here we have it. As you can see, the paper did get a little wrinkly from the Mod Podge, which is why I placed it in the book. So overall, yeah, I would say it looks pretty good. But as you can see, it is hard to see the lines like I thought it would be, so I am going to have to cut out his picture and try to retrace it on the back here before cutting out the flowers. And I'm just trying to hold it up to the light to try to get his picture to match as accurately as I can and to make sure that I don't have any parts uncovered by the flowers. But yeah, it's a little more challenging than I thought it was gonna be, but that's okay. I think I have a good spot here and now I'm just gonna trace them. All right, and the part we've all been waiting for, let's get him cut out so we can see how he looks. All right, and now for the final reveal. He looks pretty good, but I do need to fix a couple spots here. So I'm gonna trim his little foot really quick and then add some flowers to those missing pieces where I didn't get it lined up the best. All right, and now I'm just gonna clean up my little charcoal mess I have going on right here, and then we can work on putting him on the canvas. And I kind of want him in the center like this, but before I glue him down, I actually want to write his name down here. So I'm gonna try to measure it out the best that I can. Also, it doesn't help that it doesn't go exactly 10 inches. I don't know why, but anyway, I'm just gonna use some washi tape and try to get it as straight as I can and use it as a guide to write his name. All right, and I'm going to be using my 1.5 fine liner for this, and I'm just trying to make sure I get it as even as I can. And I was so nervous about that I was like holding my breath the entire time and my hand was kind of shaking. And of course, as I was writing the D, I ended up smearing the T, and I tried to clean it up the best that I could, but it wasn't really coming off. But that's okay because I will end up going over it and fixing it later, so it's not that big of a deal. And now for our satisfying tape peel. All right, there we go. And now I'm just gonna kind of try to clean it up a little bit more. And then I'm going to go over it with some white paint, which I'm actually going to fast forward that part for you. All right, and now that it is dried, I'm going in with my 0.5 to write Dutton's name in cursive between the blank lines. Okay, and I'm actually going to thicken up his name just a little bit, so I'm gonna do that really quick. Okay, I think that looks a lot better, and now we can finally work on getting him glued onto the canvas. All right, and now I'm just gonna try to get him centered before I actually press him down. And yeah, I think that looks good. All right, there we have it. Now let's start working on Sadie and Ranger. And I actually already cut out their pictures and traced them so that way you wouldn't have to watch that part again. So yeah, let's get them cut out. Okay, oops. All right, there we go. And now we can start working on getting them glued onto their canvases. But of course, we're gonna write their names first. And again, I'm just gonna use my ruler and washi tape and try to get it as even as I can. And I'm just gonna kind of line them up on the canvas where I want them to try to give me a better idea of where exactly I should put their names. And my girl's looking a little thick here. I mean, she's pretty thick already, mostly because of her fur. But as you can see, I definitely did her dirty and didn't trim right along the actual lines that I had traced out for her. So had to fix that up for her. Anyways, I think that's a good spot for them. So now onto the stressful part and trying not to mess up their names. All right, and now let's peel the tape. Okay, and now I'm just gonna do a little bit of touch-ups again. And there we have it. Now let's get them glued down. All right, and now we finally got them both done. And here is a close-up for you. Again, I just absolutely love those pink flowers with those little detailed lines. I feel like it definitely gives that fur texture, and I just think that they're really pretty flowers. And I couldn't be happier with how these turned out. I just love them. And it's just so much more meaningful when you create something for those that you love and also create something that is personal and meaningful to you. But yeah, anyways, thanks again for joining me. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you'll be notified when I share my next video. And I hope to see you next time.